Hi guys, my name is Alessandro and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a tutorial. This tutorial is going to be on how to get long-lasting, luminous, dewy skin if you have oily skin. Even though I'm oily, I like my skin to look fresh and just very juicy and healthy. I don't like it to look matte, I don't want it to look cakey, I don't want it to look dry. I just want to look luminous and glowy. So, that's a little hard if you're naturally very oily, which I am, especially on my T-zone. The rest of my face is okay, but my T-zone is very oily. Today's tutorial is just going to be on my complexion because I'm going to be going in on how to create it. So I started filming makeup videos about 2 months ago, but then I stopped for a good 3 weeks because my camera broke and I sent to get fixed and it just took longer than expected. But within those weeks, I really got in touch with how I used to do my makeup before I started doing like Instagram tutorials and like Instagram pictures. As I started to do makeup for Instagram and to post it online, I kind of felt like I started just doing what everybody else was doing. You're like bake, you're heavy powder, and that's not at all how I started to do my makeup originally. So these last couple of weeks that I took a break and just sat down and did makeup just for fun, I got back in touch with the way I used to do my makeup and couldn't be more happy because I think I've really got close to perfecting my base and my perfect base. The base that I've like loved the most and that like looks the best and that wears the best, and I'm gonna show you guys how to do that today. So I already went in and primed my skin. I used the Dior Forever and Ever Wear primer. This primer, it's not mattifying, it's not blurring, it just helps hold your makeup really well and just really helps the makeup stay in place. Now that I already have that primer on, I'm gonna be going in with my Urban Decay De-Slick Setting Spray. And I'm just gonna spray this all over my face to set that primer in and to create a barrier for my skin. Since I'm naturally very oily on my T-zone, I want to prevent oils from peeping through the makeup. Okay, so this look is gonna be intense. I'm gonna be going in with 3 different foundations. However, I know that seems ridiculous, but it turns out flawless because each foundation is a different finish for the area that I'm using it for. You don't have to use 3 foundations. I would recommend using 2 if you have oily combination skin. A luminous foundation like where you're drier and a more like satin finish foundation where you're oily. But I'm gonna be going in with 3 finishes first. I'm gonna be going in with a very neutral foundation, just skin-like thin, very thin foundation on like the perimeter of my face. And then I'm gonna be going in with a luminous foundation. This is a Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation where I wanna be extra dewy. So I'm gonna go in with this foundation on my highlighted areas. And then I'm gonna be going in with this Dior Air Flash, which is like a satin finish and has the most coverage out of the three foundations. I'm gonna be going with that on my T-zone. This more full coverage satin foundation works best where I'm most oily because it's the strongest. It also has the most coverage where I need it. I have a lot of like texture, and I don't have a lot of texture, but I have some texture on my forehead, and try to pop the blackheads, and that sometimes leave like a little scar for a week or so, and this really helps hide the imperfections that I have on my forehead. Okay, so I'm gonna start off first by mixing them. I would go in with this foundation first on my hand, just so like my body temperature from my hand could warm it up, and then I get my finger, I put this foundation on my neck, and like I said, the perimeter of my face. Then I'm going to go in with a flat brush foundation and kind of just pat it in. I'm gonna go in with the Dior Face and Body Foundation on my forehead too, just the top of it, to not put as much makeup. Now I'm gonna be going in with my Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. This foundation is a little bit lighter than this one because I am gonna put it in the areas that I wanna be more highlighted. Not like too different, but it is just a little bit more bright than this one. And I'm also gonna pound this in. I'm gonna put some of that Giorgio Armani foundation on the sides of my forehead too, so I can have a little more glow right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and spray a little bit on my brush. I'm gonna pounce the excess on my hand and just take what is left and pound it on my forehead. I'm gonna go in with a little more because I took too much off on my hand. Now with a damp beauty blender, I'm gonna go in and blend out and make sure there's no streaks on my foundation. I'm gonna spray this with some Urban Decay All Nighter just to make my base stronger. I'm not gonna pile on product onto my beard and mustache area because I just find that it doesn't even end up covering it. It's too dark. It's like black, thick hair coming through my skin, so it's not gonna be covered with some liquid foundation. Instead, it's just gonna sink into like the hair follicle and just look crusty and gross. So I'm not gonna cake product on to cover my facial hair. Kind of like it peeping through a bit. I feel like it makes it look very skin-like and like I'm wearing nothing at all, so I don't mind it peeping through. Now I'm gonna use this YSL Touche Claw on my highlight areas. I'm gonna be going in here on my cheekbones, a little bit on my eyebrows, a little bit here on my forehead, and on my chin. I'm putting the product here because I wanna emphasize my cheeks since I don't have like too much cheekbone. A little bit on my eyebrow to lighten it up. And again, spray my beauty blender. Now that I have blended out that YSL Touche Claw, I'm gonna be going in with my first cream blush. I'm gonna be going in with this Nude Sticks Poppy Girl Dewy Cream Blush. This is a little dark, but the reason that I'm going with like the darkest shade is because I'm still gonna be putting on a lot of product on my skin. So this is gonna fade off. I'm just gonna be going in with my finger and dabbing it onto my skin. I'm focusing this blush as high as I can on my cheekbone right here because I want to lift my face up a bit and widen it out. So I'll be bringing it up on the sides too. I love this cream blush because it really makes the area that you put it in look very dewy. Don't be scared to go with the darkest color in this blush because it blends beautifully. In fact, if you go way too light, you're gonna feel like you just wasted your time and money on the light shade because it's just gonna fade off. So yeah, don't be scared of it. Don't be scared of some color. I'm also gonna put this color on my forehead, on the sides, the tip of my nose, and a bit on my chin. Next, I'm gonna be going in with cream bronzer. I'm gonna be going in with the Huda Beauty Tantour in the color Light. And I'm just gonna build this up. I'm bringing this all the way down here to make my cheeks look a little more hollow. If you don't want your face to look longer, don't bring it this low. If you just want it to snatch it up, I would just keep it right here, up to here, to still hollow your face a bit and look you more. I'm gonna take this Huda Beauty Tantour and I'm gonna be putting in this Tantour on my lids just to make everything look very cohesive and to blend it into my nose contour. With this small compact brush, I'm just gonna bring the Tantour on the bridge of my nose. I'm not placing it on the side, I'm literally just placing it on top right here to bring in my nose. To further snatch my face, I'm gonna be going in with this Anastasia Beverly Hills foundation stick in the color Mink, which was made specifically to contour. It is a like dark ashy shade. I put the product on my hand and I'm gonna be going in with this brush and placing my contour. This contour, I'm just gonna place it under my cheekbones. And placing a little right here to make my chin more defined. I'm gonna get this contour and also place it not under my jaw, but right here to create more of a jawline for myself. And I'm gonna bring it up here too. I'm also gonna bring this contour shade right here to make it look like my eyes are more snatched back. And with this same brush that I did that cream bronzer with on my nose, I'm gonna get the excess product on my hand and just snatch the tip a little bit more. Before I start my concealer, I'm gonna go ahead off camera and sculpt my eyebrows. I'm just gonna use the YSL Touche Claw and shape my eyebrows with that. Since I'm not gonna bake my face, but I don't wanna bake my face because I wanna avoid powder as much as possible, but I still wanna clean up this cream contour. So I'm gonna be going in with my YSL Touche Claw and just cleaning up a bit this cream bronzer. And I'm not gonna put it too high because I don't wanna erase the shadow that I tried so hard on, but I do wanna clean it up a bit. With the brush that I carved out my eyebrows with, I'm gonna go ahead and bring that Touche Claw down my nose to clean up my nose contour. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start my under eyes. The first thing that I'm going to do is color correct. I'm gonna be going in with this Dior Fix It color, which is a peachy color corrector and just neutralizes your eyes beautifully. It doesn't leave like this orange dark color corrector. It just blends in perfect with your skin. You can even not wear concealer with this color corrector. I am gonna be generous with this since it is so thin. I'm gonna try to keep it right here, right under my eye, because that's where I'm the darkest. And I'm also gonna put it right here because I have this like dark spot. I'm gonna pat it in, pat, 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 and the excess I'll bring it under my entire eye. I'm gonna be going in today with 2 shades of concealer. I'm gonna be going in with the Giorgio Armani Power Fabric Concealer in shade 5 and shade 4.5. Shade 5 is a little on the peachier side, I think, and 4.5 is a little bit brighter. I'm gonna put the bright one first because I want the peachy one to just neutralize the bright one. I'm gonna put a dot of the bright one on my forehead and on my chin, just so it doesn't look too bright just under my eyes. I'm gonna go in with this fluffy blending concealer brush and start off with my chin and forehead because I want this concealer on my eye to dry up a bit so it gets a little tacky. I'm gonna just pounce this concealer into the areas that I first applied it to. I'm focusing it right here because I have this just dip right here that I want to cover as much as I can. That's the thing that I'm trying to cover the most. I'm gonna bring this concealer too on the side of my nose just to bring in my nose a bit also. I'm gonna spray my beauty blender with this Urban Decay All Nighter, and this trick of mine that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put some of this MAC Strobe Cream, which is a like highlighting moisturizer, and I'm gonna put it on my hand and tap my beauty blender into it. And as I blend out my concealer, I'm gonna be going in with this MAC Strobe Cream, which just makes the concealer blend out so beautiful. Whatever crepiness you could have got from the concealer or a little too cakey, this completely just melts it down. And also, since this is highlighting, it adds a little bit of brightening to under your eye. So using a small beauty blender or Real Techniques beauty sponge, I'm gonna be going in with my Laura Mercier powder, and I'm just gonna be patting a little bit of powder, and again taking the excess on my hand. With what's left with it, I'm gonna just pound it into my under eye, and I'm just gonna do this where I crease and smile the most. And using this small powder brush, I'm just gonna lightly go over my concealer. The amount of powder that I'm going into is very little. I don't like to put a lot of powder because the more product you put on your face is the more product that's just sitting there waiting to be broken down. And by the end of the day, it's what's gonna look the mess. Using this cleaner beauty blender, I went in with some MAC Strobe Cream and just spread it really good on my hand and just patted the beauty blender on the excess. And I'm gonna be putting that excess product right here to highlight my skin again. This MAC Strobe Cream doesn't break through the powder and concealer. It just kind of mixes them in together and creates a very skin-like texture. If your eyes are looking a little crepey, just get that strobe cream and pound it in and press it into your under eye a bit. This should bring your under eye area back to life after you applied your powder. I'm gonna be going in with my second cream blush. This is the color Sweet Peach. I'm going in with this color last because this is more natural. It fits my skin tone perfect. If I would have gone in with that dark shade we went in first, it would have looked a little crazy. This is just gonna marry everything in together, the concealer, the cream bronzer, and it's just gonna make your skin look nice and juicy and a little blushy. I put it on with my fingers. I'm gonna be putting in the same areas that I put the other cream blush in. Now I'm gonna put a light layer of this Laura Mercier powder on my T-zone. Very light layer. I don't know if you could see, but yeah, I have very little product out right there. I'm gonna be going in with this brush, and just patting it on my T-zone. I'm gonna avoid putting it on the highlight area because I want that area to stay as wet and dewy as possible. And to set the perimeter of my face, I'm gonna do a thin layer of this Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Finish Powder in the color 3. I don't wanna go in with a powdered bronzer after setting my whole face because I just feel like that's a second layer of powder we don't need. So instead, I'll be using a like dark color setting powder to bronze my face up. I'm gonna spray this Urban Decay All-Nighter all over my face and pat it in with this beauty blender so I know it is like deep in my skin. I feel like this is one of the most important steps of doing your makeup, patting in the setting spray, because it just melts everything together. When you just spray the setting spray and just let it sit there, I feel like it kind of just like clumps up where the droplets like got on your skin. But if you pat it all in, you'll have an even layer of setting spray all over your makeup. So off camera, I did my eyebrows, mascara, and I lined my lips. Now I'll be going in and doing my last touch, which is my highlight. I'm gonna be going in with this Marc Jacobs Dewy Skin Mist and spraying it on this beauty blender right here. I'm just gonna keep this on my highlight. While it's wet, I'm gonna be going in with my Pat McGrath highlight trio, and I'm gonna be using just these two right here, but more of this gold shade and just a little bit of that pink shade. I'm going to spray my beauty blender again with that spray and once again apply it where the highlight is, just to melt the highlight into my skin and the rest of the makeup. And that leaves us with this very skin-like dewy highlight. I focused the highlighter right here because I want to bring this part of my cheeks up, since I feel like I don't have a lot of volume on this area. I went ahead and put a little bit of this Fenty Glass Balm on my lips. It is in the color Fussy and it's just the perfect nude gloss. So that concludes this Luminous complexion tutorial for oily skin. As the night progresses and I get oilier, I'm not gonna go in with any more product because I don't want to keep caking and caking powder on top of powder. So I'm gonna be using throughout the night this Boisha blotting paper to remove the oil. This keeps your makeup looking fresh all night and it prevents the oils from breaking down the makeup. I used to just use translucent powder throughout the night, and by the end of the night my makeup would just look way too cakey, and these powders right here don't remove any of the makeup. After you press your whole entire face, if you look at the blotting papers, it'll just be like clear and just the oil instead of makeup. So yeah, I hope you guys like this tutorial and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.